Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
And good evening, MFHL fans. Welcome in to tonight's edition of MFHL Playoff Game Day here on your home for Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator for tonight's action. Ingram, the G-Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, and Goaltenders, as we have been all season long. It's the second of two semifinals to get going here tonight in terms of this series between the top seed, Eastman Selects, taking on the fourth seed in the Yellowhead Chiefs, as we're down to only 4 teams remaining in this year's MFHL playoffs, as 4 teams remain in the quest and the hunt to bring home this year's championship to become provincial championships. And we ended up broadcasting Game 1 of the Winnipeg Avers and Winnipeg Ice series last night, which did go in favor of the Winnipeg Ice last night, winning Game 1 by a score of 2-1. The Avers were able to tie it in the second period, but the Ice would find the go-ahead goal in the third, as, the defending champs 2 wins away from making it into another championship series, which would be their 4th straight year of making it in. Battle for a championship, but still a lot of work left to be done. The Winnipeg Avers won't be going down without a fight. Of course, that franchise searching for their first championship in their history in this league. Eastman and Yellowhead, 2 teams that have been in finals before. Eastman winning a championship back in 2017-18, and man, have they sure looked incredible this year. All these years later, I'd say on paper and by the statistics, it was the best finish in Eastman's history, with 27 wins this regular season. Yes, the most games ever played out of any team in the program's history, but the league playing more games in total. And they've been led by their tremendous defense. Their fantastic goaltending as Addison Tomes and Isabella Lawson make their way out onto the ice to lead this team tonight. As, we got the noisemaker fully going here at Niverville Recreational Complex. As, this series is all about the pressure, I'd say. Both these teams, how can you handle it? How will you thrive through it? Well, for the Yellowhead Chiefs, they had quite a lot of pressure last series. In fact, with 9 seconds remaining in regulation, they tied the game up in Game 5 to send it into overtime, courtesy of the captain, Grace Kirk, where Emma Pollock would finish things off in OT with that series clinching winning goal. And yeah, cardiac kids for a reason. I mean, 2 years in a row now, this team has had to battle back to make it through their quarterfinal series. Down 2-1 against Brandon, not even having to lead in the first round series, but kept winning games to stay alive and won the all-important game number 5. Battle-tested this team is for sure coming in, but now can you elevate your game against what is a phenomenal Eastman Selects team? They swept their way through the Bolts in the quarterfinals and defensive excellence. 33 goals allowed in 32 regular season games this year. Well, through their first 3 games of the playoffs against Cinder Lake, not a single goal allowed for the Eastman Selects. Their depth has been on display. This team, in my opinion, the most well-built and balanced team in the league, but none of that matters at this point. That series sweep didn't matter in the first round. Those 27 wins didn't matter in the regular season. The past is in the past. All that matters is right now for this Eastman Selects team, a team that, of course, looking to get to the finals this season, but it goes one game at a time. Can they stay present in this series? Well, we'll find out coming up next. This has been your pregame show. National Anthem and Puck Drop up next. And welcome in everybody into Niverville, Manitoba. If you're just joining us, it's Game 1 of this best-of-5 quarterfinal series against the top-seeded Eastman Selects. The MFHL taking on the 4th-seeded Yellowhead Chiefs. But as we have mentioned in the pregame show, the past, the records, everything these teams have accomplished up until this point, really, it doesn't matter unless they're able to get through in this series. The memories made this season from both these teams, I'm sure, have been ones to remember. Can you make even more memories if you're either Yellowhead or Eastman? Positive ones here in the MFHL playoffs as we get further and further down the line, closer and closer to the championship series. We will find out here tonight how this series will start as we're underway for Game 1 in this semifinal series from Niverville, Manitoba. As in net tonight for the Eastman Selects, making her return in terms of, well, we haven't seen her play in a while. It's Addison Tomes, battled an injury late into the season, was able to play in the team's final playoff game of round 1 and Game 3 to get the victory. Claire Merckx gets the start tonight for the Yellowhead Chiefs. She was fantastic in that series when Yellowhead had success against the Brandon Wheat Kings in round 1. Starting goaltenders brought to you by Goaltenders. Their goalie's personal video review service is early on here. Eastman plays it off the wall. D to D. Remillard up to Remillard. That was Caillou got knocked off the puck as Yellowhead cuts it off in the neutral zone. Back into the Eastman zone as that cross-ice pass off of a stick all the way down. No icing called on the play. First one on it will be a Yellowhead Chiefs defenseman. That was number 15, who played this puck up now towards the net, misses wide. That net occupied by Tomes. Rozdeba sends this down low, giving chase Emma Pollock. This will be held in now at the line by Grace Kirk as her shot wide of the net. That goes. She was trying to find that low Blocker hand side, short side on Tomes, but nothing doing. Remillard gets this pass over from, I believe, Hawes. Gets it right back. Lexi Remillard up now behind Hepner. Hepner searching for it, finally whacks away at it just before the blue line to send it in deep, giving chase on Cochran. As up the wall this goes for Yellowhead. Looking to stretch the ice and break it out. Maybe a high stick here. No, Yellowhead gets away with it. Shielding that puck away, but losing it was Hudson off the turnover. Nice job by Maxwell to get a stick on an Eastman player's stick there. As Eastman looks to get it out, but Kirby Gray ended up holding the line. Gray now pinned up along the boards by Scott Cook. Hodgson in to help. This puck now gets to a free Kennedy Carrier into the skates of Chloe Carrier. Plays it off the boards but turned over onto the stick of Oakden. Oakden can't get that any further. Just a few feet. It was contested well by this Eastman Selects team along the boards. Both teams whacking away at it, trying to get it loose. Maxwell in the hunt, but this goes all the way back down to the Yellowhead zone. As Eastman looks to go on the attack and get a forecheck going, a cycle, but for the time being, puck gets played out of play into the Yellowhead bench as the Chiefs end up getting some fresh legs out on the ice. And if you're the Yellowhead Chiefs, I mean, any team that starts off with a lead usually probably has a higher chance of winning the game outright, but especially against the Eastman Selects, a team that plays with so much pressure, you got to find a way to find another gear in your game and consistently try your best, at least, to try to make them feel like they have their backs up against the wall, feel like the pressure may be mounting on them as this series goes along. And it's a tough task to pull off, but Derek Tibbetts, he's been touted as, well, from what I've heard, the consensus, one of the best, if not the best, tactical coaches in this league in terms of he's going to force the other coaching staff to make adjustments throughout the game in terms of how he'll adjust his team's game plan accordingly. This Yellowhead team plays a hard style of hockey game, a physical style of hockey game at points. Team that found themselves in the box quite a bit this season, but that's usually the case for Yellowhead. Just a team that plays a physical game is Isabella Carey. Tries to dangle her way through towards the net to Merckx. Ended up losing it up to the point to Schroeder as she has that turned aside by Merckx again. As Eastman able to send this all the way back down into the Yellowhead zone. Cochran, first one on it, being pressured by number 18 in Delaney Rigo. Chipped out off the boards by Yellowhead. Now they have possession of it. Hodgson did for a moment. It's now onto the stick of Rose Deba as Eastman looks to work their way back down into the Eastman zone. Into the Yellowhead zone. They do that shot towards the net. Ends up wide of it. As for Eastman, they work this below the goal line. Hepner spinning away from the check, and now the Selects unable to quite get out of that corner, but it's held in at the point. Beavis sends it down low, heads towards the net. Had Hepner. As Hepner gets this to Remillard. Callie Remillard turned aside by Merckx. With 15:40 remaining in this first period of action. Thank you for tuning in if you are on this Wednesday night. Tuning into this MFHL Playoff Game Day action. Is this the second of the semifinal series to start? Winnipeg and Winnipeg got going last night as it was the Winnipeg Ice were able to best the Avers in Game 1, winning it by a score of 2-1. Ice never trailed in that game. Some misplay from Grunwald that ended up favoring the Avros. As the puck made it past Grunwald, threw her legs into the back of the net as she whiffed on the clear-out attempt, but the Ice goaltender made some huge saves throughout the game down the line in that one. That paid off big time for Winnipeg. The Ice in that victory against the Avros. Game number 2 in that series goes Friday night. The Hockey for All Center down in Winnipeg. Meanwhile, in this series, they'll be going again on Friday as well, as Kennedy Carrier, her shot sticked aside into the netting by Claire Merckx. And if you take a look at Yellowhead 2 in this series, a huge part of their success is also going to be the play of Claire Merckx. Can she elevate her game like we saw her do so in games number 4 and 5 of that series win against Brandon in round 1, as Merckx was perfect in game 4, having a shutout. Also had a shutout in game number 2. So over 60% of her wins in round 1 ended up being shutouts. And this team was losing in round 1, however. More so game number 4. Just weren't quite able to get that goaltending from Claire in tight. Claire has to make a huge save to cover things up. Merckx gets a stoppage in play with 14:22 remaining in this first period of action, but yeah, Yellowhead didn't get the goaltending they needed to advance in that game, or to go up 2-1 in that series in that game 3 loss, but Merckx stood on her head in the next game, making key save after key save to shut out Brandon to force that game 5, which, of course, Yellowhead gets through in dramatic fashion, scoring with 9 seconds left to extend their season, then winning it in overtime. And nonetheless, that tying goal in that game in round 1 for Eastman in game 5 to push it to overtime was shorthanded too. So it's Schroeder in the corner, her pass towards the high slot, couldn't get there. So it was covered up well by the Chiefs. That coming from the corner, just covered up by Merckx. So she gets another stoppage in play here. With 13:50 left on this first period clock, Schroeder remains out there. Ends up losing this draw, won by the Yellowhead Chiefs. The Chiefs try to play it up the boards, unable to. Clogged up well by this Eastman Selects team as the Chiefs now work at D-to-D, but that out of the reach of Grace Kirk, now whacked out all the way down into the select zone. No icing called on the play, is waved off by the linesman. Rose Daba battling in the corner with Delaney Rigaud. Rigaud got it loose to Beavis. Beavis' pass up to the captain. Dixon off her twig and turned over. As for Beavis now into the skates of Dixon, but has some trouble getting this out as Kirk right in the area to contest her all the way down. This goes into the Eastman zone, now trying to stretch the ice, but cut off by number 19 and Knight. Knight trying to dangle her way past, but couldn't catch up to that loose puck dangle, as it ends up being the first shot recorded on net for Tomes to get some action here. So an offensive zone face-off draw coming up for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Knight to take the draw has Casey George, as well as, not sure who that is out there with him. Cochran, her shot unable to get through. This is blocked up out of the Eastman zone in favor of Eastman as they carried this up to the Chiefs blue line. Chiefs go D-to-D as this played up the boards, out of the reach for number 2 and George, but Yellowhead works it right back. That's sent in deep all the way down into the Eastman zone. Blake Hawes tries to shovel this up the boards, and she does, but Delaney Rigaud unable to clear. Now she tries to make another move past Maxwell, but Maxwell holding the line well, ends up finally turning it over. This stretch cross ice to Delaney Rigaud. She just decides to fire that in on net, which Merckx has to make a save before Rigaud goes off for a change. That pass off the mark, off the boards, all the way down to the select zone. So an icing called on the play for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Shan Scott Cook taking on Kirby Gray for the Yellowhead Chiefs here on the draw. Scott Cook in her second year with this Eastman squad wins that draw successfully. Taveda Rigaud tries to locate number 16 and Heidinger in the slot. That pass just missed. This is a bit behind Heidinger. Heidinger scoops up this loose puck now. So her teammates in the area were tied up with some Yellowhead players. Drops this back to the point, but through the legs of Carey. Now a foot race. Rigaud gonna beat Maxwell to it, as Vader Rigaud surveys her options, gets this over the sticks of some Yellowhead Chiefs players, lifted it all the way to Heidinger, but Heidinger lost the puck on that dangle. Eastman still able to hold the line, though, as they send this in deep. Is now off to the races. Gray being sent with a pass that, waved out for icing. Good enough to beat it was number 8 as she circles down in the corner, pass up into the high slot, ends up off the mark. Now Heidinger trying to go to the net. Has Scott Cook with her. Heidinger unloads that shot just over the shoulder of Merckx. Scott Cook, first one on it along the boards as she battles away down low with the Yellowhead Chiefs player. With 11:05 remaining in this period now, still scoreless. Shot 6-1 in favor of this Eastman Selects side. Now it's the Chiefs who make their way in. That pass to Pollock in the high slot, unable to connect. Now the Chiefs trying to defend, and they do on that stretch cross-ice pass attempt by the Selects. The Selects carry it offside. And with that, face-off zone coming up just outside of the Chiefs zone. Schroeder back on to take it for the Selects, and number 3 wins it. Hawes fires this in. Merckx out of her own net to stop this up. It'll be for Cochran. Cochran plays this up the boards. Now all the way out for the Yellowhead Chiefs. Cross ice into the feet of Woloski, but tries to power her way through. Unable to quite make it there in time as Tomes gets a piece of it, but Maxwell able to gain a step past Normando. No call on what could have been a penalty very well there to number 9. Eastman was calling for it on the bench. Not going to be getting anything rewarded this time in their favor. As up the boards, this unable to be held in by the Eastman Selects. It's Vader Rigaud. Right back to Delaney Rigaud. Now to Hepner. Her shot unable to get through. Delaney Rigaud from the low slot. Loose puck wide of the net from number 18. No tips out of the net. Hepner denied by Merckx. Rebound, scores. It's Danielle Hepner who gets the party started here in the semifinal series for the Eastman Selects. Took a few whacks at it, but on about the second attempt, Hepner successful in beating Merckx. It's an overload in front of the net from the Eastman Selects. They've done a great job of crashing to that area of the ice all season long. A big part of their success offensively has been a great cycle game and holding the zone like they did there. And with that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. What type of response does this Yellowhead Chiefs team have here coming up? 9:18 remaining in this period of action. 8-2 the shots in favor of the leaders here right now in the Selects. Another offensive zone face-off draw coming up. Shannon Scott Cook take it again. Ties up her girl in the draw now. Heidinger couldn't get that shot on net as she spun and fired off the stick of Hodgson and out for the Chiefs. Now Woloski giving chase on Beavis. Beavis able to poke it past her, and in for support was Heidinger to get that out of the Eastman zone, but sent in right away by the Chiefs again. It's off of the stick of Cochran. Lexi Remillard was first one on and put the moves on a Chief down low before going D-to-D. Selects unable to get this out. Delayed offside, able to their advantage as it's up to Heidinger now. Dangles to the middle. Now unloads that shot, blocked into the body of Grace Kirk all the way out over the stick of Joel Normando. Now Blake Haas retrieves this puck, but fans on that attempted pass. Haas recovers well, goes off the backboards. Now she got that puck back to Kennedy Carey. Flips this up to Schroeder, who somehow catches this puck. Impressive stuff from number 3, who also draws a penalty upon entry into the zone. It's the Selects who go to the girl advantage for first time out of any team in this series here. And for the first time in this game at 8:19 left in the first period of action. That'll bring our first period sponsor onto the screen in Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Eastman, unbelievable on the power play this year with the most power play goals out of any team in the regular season. Quickly worked to Rigaud. Veda, that is, ended up having that blocked up as Rigaud gets it right back up top. Now Vader, her shot blocked this time by Woloski. Good to stay in the lane. Isabella Carrier works it right back up top to number 17. Kicks us back out to Carrier. Back up to Rigaud. That shot deflects through a bunch of bodies wide of the net off the backboards, but the Selects get it right back to the quarterback and Rigaud to Chloe Carrier. Now another block shot by Woloski. About her second one of the sequence here on this shift. Another block, this time by, I believe, number 8 and Kirby Gray. Exactly what you need if you're the Chiefs against this Eastman PP. To the left face-off circle. Rebound there for Schroeder. Ends up being turned aside by Merckx. In tight with about a minute 05 remaining in this Eastman power play. As they continue to work it down low now to the net. Rigaud trying to find it. Delaney that time, but couldn't through some Chiefs skates. This is back up to Veda. She unloads. That shot through this time, scores! That one looked like it had eyes for number 17. Made it through a bunch of traffic. Ends up, I believe, just catching the inside of that post, hitting all net and going right out right away. As what a rip from number 17, who had her previous shots blocked up. Great penalty killing from the Yellowhead Chiefs, but Eastman keeps maintaining possession. They keep maintaining pressure in the zone. Worked up to the point again where Vader Rigaud, this time that shot on the power play, making no mistake, making its way through the traffic and past number 33 in Claire Merckx. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store in the city of Winnipeg. Of course, it's their only store location, 995 Miltz Drive. Be sure to check them out, as well as at their website at CanCentralSportsCards.com. Hawes just threads that DDD pass across to Normando, who sends this all the way in deep off the stick of Merckx. That now pinned up along the boards, a Chiefs player by, I believe, Delaney Rigaud down low as Rigaud stays in the slot towards the net. That pass goes from Heidinger, but ends up missing off the backboards now. Looked like it could have been an unlucky bounce at first for this Chiefs team, but they do get it back. It's worked now into the neutral zone on Roz Davis, who just dumps this in all the way down, where Addison Tomes come out of her own net to play that for Blake Hawes. Passed up to Kennedy Carrier now. Carrier just before the blue line. Tried to send this in deep, and she does so successfully now. She ducks it to Heidinger, and that right corner is Heidinger's pass out into the front of the net. Blocked up well by a Chiefs defenseman as the Chiefs look to work this up through the neutral zone, but pass off the mark as Chloe Carrier intercepted up the right boards. Grace Knight, a nice job to keep that down low as Knight goes off for a change now. A Select. Rigaud battling away with the Chief down low in the Select zone as it got to Chloe Carrier now off the boards. Off the mark for Shan Scott Cook. But Carrier jumps up in the play. Now carries this past the Selects, or the Yellowhead blue line. For the Selects, that is. It'll be Vader Rigaud who passes this up to Isabella Carrier, now to Schroeder, back to Delaney, or to Vader Rigaud. Passed into the body of Schroeder, as Schroeder couldn't work that up any further in the neutral zone as Maxwell did a good job of clogging up the boards there as that stretch pass cross ice misses Isabella Carrier's stick. With 4:33 remaining in this first period of action. Offensive zone face-off draw for the Chiefs, won by this Selects team, worked out into the neutral zone, but intercepted by Rose Cochran as Cochran shovels this in with the backhand for the Chiefs. Now off a skate and all the way back down into the Chiefs zone as Grace Kirk first one on it, plays a D to Rose Cochran. That pass misses Rose Davis. Same with Veach, who, by the way, leading point getter and assist getter for this Yellowhead Chiefs team through that first round of action in those 5 games, as Veach had 6 helpers to her name in that series. It's in the corner. Veach battles along with a teammate. That's number 5, and Maxwell is that shot gloved down by Tomes, ready for it from the corner. Face-off draw once again in the select zone. That almost taking a bad bounce off of Tomes and looked like it could have head back into the back of the net of this Selects team for what would have been the Chiefs' first goal of the game. But the Selects able to survive that. Up to Callie Remler. Tried to make a move at the blue line but lost the puck. It's picked up by Hepner. Now she tries to spin away from the pressure but unable to. Is this all the way down by Jace Oakden? But the Selects able to break out with some ease once more. Sophia Heidinger gets a stick-on-stick there against number 23 in Grace Kirk. Kirk tries to shovel this puck out. Unable to. As Heidinger now contests, as well as Normando along those boards for Eastman to hold this puck. And Delaney Rigo, her shot from a ways out ends up missing the net wide, as it ends up in the high slot for Normando. Stepped up in the play. Kennedy Carrier to cover. Gets this to Heidinger. Now that shot wide of the net from that slot. Chance. Normando steps up in the play again. Gets this down low. Heidinger out in front to number 13, and Kennedy Carrier just missed. Chloe Carrier now with the shot. Ends up having that blocked up. Strong forecheck by Scott Cook to hold this line as the high forward gets it down to Kennedy Carrier, side of the net to Heidinger, but couldn't unload anything as she was in too tight. Now she circles up, shot wide of the net though from that right face-off circle. Vader Rigo now down low. She gets pinned up along the boards. This held in again by the Selects, however. Down low to Rigo. Tries going to the slot for number 15 and Shane Scott Cook, but unable to locate number 15 as she was defended well, had her stick lifted. But the Selects, their pressure just keeps ramping up. Finally, the Chiefs able to get this puck out. They're able to just get into the zone. Now Maxwell carries it. That shot towards the net gets through, but covered up right away by Tomes. It's been a pretty easy period, all things considered, for number 34. But still has to stay sharp to be in this game and make these saves, as this one up to the point for an AP defenseman tonight for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Try to get you the confirmation on who that is throughout this game. But I have a feeling, based off of who I think it is off the top of my head right now, it's going to be fun to watch this AP in action. He's about 13 years old this year, playing with the U18s. Crazy if it is who I think it is. Stay tuned for an update throughout this game, MFHL fans. But with a minute 11 remaining in this period of action, it's the Yellowhead Chiefs trailing by a score of 2-0, looking for a late period goal to equalize. That into the feet of Pollock, gets cut off, has that pickpocketed by Lexi Remillard. Her pass unable to make it that far up the neutral zone, but Schroeder now makes her way in, trying to use the leg as a screen. Now gets her own rebound off the backboards. To Delaney Rigo. That shot ends up being blocked by a Chiefs shin pad as Hepner down low. Now on the boards, has this puck. The first goal scorer in this game gets it up to Beavis. Unloads that shot. That block by Rose Deba. Broke her stick in the process. So Rose Deba forced to stay out there to defend this. Now finally out for this Eastman team. Rose Deba can go to the bench to get a stick. She goes off for a change altogether. 14 seconds remain now. Yellowhead got to be careful to be really clean in their zone here. Maybe not, as Haas looks to hold the zone. Loses track of this puck, though, out of her reach, as she couldn't cradle it well enough to hold possession. George over tonight. As with that, this first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. sees the Eastman Selects up by a score of 2-0. Yeah, exactly the way you want to start this series off if you're the Eastman Selects. No nerves from them whatsoever. And a team that very well feels like, just by looking at them, lasered in and locked in this game right now. Maya Grenier giving her teammates fist bumps. You can't see her on the screen. She, of course, injured in this matchup, but the depth on display during that first period of action, not just with the two different goal scorers that this team ends up having, but just in terms of how their whole team is always involved in the attack no matter what. We saw it multiple times. Yellowhead had fits trying to get the puck out of the zone. And then just in the defensive zone for Eastman, just a really good job of playing really good team defense. Yellowhead had a lot of problems, a lot of troubles trying to get behind the Eastman Selects defense to get any type of attack going. But I will say that Yellowhead has done a lot of good things. Well, yes, they let up a power play goal, but got a lot of good blocks on it. This is a team with some players that can make a huge impact in the hockey game as well. So we'll see if one of their players up front can start to turn the tide. Maybe it's one of their defensemen. Maybe it's Grace Kirk who gets involved into the action. Or, well, we'll have to wait and see who steps up for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Claire Merckx, she's faced 11 shots so far. She's saved 9. Addison Tomes, perfect on all 5 that she's faced so far. As her Selects up 2-0, we're going to send it to some first intermission highlights, not from this game, but from the most recent matchup between these two teams from the regular season finale in the MFHL a few Sundays ago now. You've been watching MFHL Game Day on your home for MFHL Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. Thanks for tuning in so far, everybody. This first period, as mentioned, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Located on 995 Miltsteagle Drive, they are your one-stop shop. Well, for the best cards in the city, the best selection, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Should check them out today. Selects, we'll see if they can extend on their lead coming up next in the second period, or if the Chiefs can start to cut into it. Stay tuned, everybody. This is game 32 of this regular season this afternoon between the Selects and the Chiefs. The Yellowhead Chiefs, that is. And this MFHL Game Day broadcast brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Hepner, trying to maneuver away from the pressure, gets it up to the point to Haas. Haas' shot tipped on net, denied by Johnston. Thank you for tuning in on this Super Bowl Sunday, by the way, everybody. Let us know what your favorite Super Bowl scores! Right as I'm talking about the Super Bowl, it's a super goal for number 19 and Danielle Hepner. To Callie Remillard, plays this over. To Lexi Remillard. Over to Hepner as her shot ends up deflecting off the pads of Johnston. On to Callie Remillard's stick now. She circles up, rebound there, scores! And is it Danielle Hepner again? I think it just maybe makes this a 2-0 lead for her Eastman Select squad. Trying to get this down low. It does go to Heidinger. Tries to locate in the slot. It gets there. That shot not able to go through. Now Heidinger banging away at it. Scott Cook unable to put that in back door, but up to the point it goes. Chloe Carrier's shot. Just getting a piece of that was Gracie Johnston to clog the wall up. Sent down low. Now ends up to the point for Rose Cochran. She tries shooting, but fans on it. Ends up on Hepner's stick. It's number 19 with 2 goals already. And this 2-0 lead kicks it out. That shot on net off the post, scores! A hat trick for number 19. As she completes the natural Hattie to put Eastman up 3-0. Are you kidding me? But taken away by Eastman again below the goal line. Worked up to the point. Haas, her shot, looking for a tip set on the net. Hepner denied. Rebound there. We're back to even strength. Still banging away at it. Eastman shoveled in front of the net again, but turned aside by Johnston. As Veach sends this below the goal line for Pollock. Pollock tries to protect this puck. Now out in front, loose in the slot. Despiège-Lair unable to whack away at it. As great job by Eastman to converge on that. Labossiere makes a heads-up save off of that deflection as they go off for a change. 1:14 remaining in this period. This chipped up by Maxwell, but unable to get to it first as Lexi Remillard back in her own end. This stretch pass up, connects, offside, not going to be called. Heidinger dangles and scores! Into the opposite corner by Sophia Heidinger, the most recent goal scorer in this game. Now Vaderigo plays it to the net, gets it with a great hand-eye out of the air. Face off, won by Eastman up to Lexi Remillard. Her shot through deflects wide of the net off the stick of Schroeder. Dixon gets it off the boards to the slot. That shot scores! Isabella Carey makes it a 5-0 game. Cochran up the boards, turns this over to Rigaud. Ends up back in the neutral zone. Gray able to get a step. Gray in, has her pocket pick. Great defensive effort on the back check by Blake Hawes as she got a stick in. Off the stick of an Eastman player back down to the Yellowhead zone. Is this taken away by Scott Cook? Nice stick, high slot. Cook sends it towards the net. Rebound there, whacking away at it. Delaney Rigaud, but ends up under the pad of Gracie Johnston. So it's over to Heidinger now. Works her way in. Heidinger as she stick handles and stops up now near the point. Heidinger dangles past Taryn Knight. Able to shoot, scores! And inaccurate shot, a rip from number 16 in Sophia Heidinger past Gracie Johnston. Extends this lead to 6-0 for the Eastman Selects. On this girl advantage now. As this intercepted towards the net, Gray wide of it, as she's had so many chances like that. To Delaney Rigaud, she makes a move, making her way towards the net, backhand trying to tuck that in, 5-hole, but Johnston denies her. From Pollock as she continues to work here, forces a turnover, held in at the line by Gray for the Chiefs. Picked up by Pollock again, that shot turned aside, rebound there, all over the net, that goes so close. So with 17 seconds remaining on what has been a record-breaking season for the Eastman Selects for the first time in their franchise's history, finishing as the first place team in an MFHL regular season. They'll have to wait to see who their opponent is for the upcoming first round, but
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back, Manitoba Female Hockey League fans, into Game 1 of this semifinal series from Niverville, Manitoba for Game 1 between the Eastman Selects and the Yellowhead Chiefs. First period of action brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store located at 995 Miltsteagle Drive, their only store location that exists in the city of Winnipeg. As well as be sure to check out their website at cancentralsportscards.com to check out their selection. If you don't want to go to the store beforehand, to do so if you are thinking of making your way in there. And yeah, both teams are going to be making their way onto the ice here very shortly for period number 2, as the Zamboni has made its way off of the ice now. 2-0 in favor of the Eastman Selects after the first 20 minutes. They lead 11-5 in terms of the shots. It was really all Eastman throughout that period. Yellowhead had some looks to be able to try to get some action on net, but Eastman for the most part did a really good job of defending, and anything that did get through, Addison Tomes was able to make some pretty easy saves, some routine saves throughout that period. She was perfect on the first 5 that Chiefs faced. Claire Merckx is in net for the Chiefs here tonight. She's currently the MFHL's playoff goaltending wins leader with a 3-2 record. In that first round series win against the Brandon Wheat Kings, as we take a look at the updated bracket here, other semifinal got going last night to kick off the semifinal round between an all-Winnipeg best-of-5 semifinal series matchup. The Winnipeg Ice looking to win their 3rd straight MFHL championship. To do so, they're going to have to, make it through a very good Winnipeg Avers team. Last night was step 1 for Winnipeg, the Ice that is, getting the first victory of the series. And as mentioned many times before, the Winnipeg Avers, as many great teams as they've had in the past, they just haven't been able to put it together to be able to quite win a championship after all these years. And this year's group, composed of some good veteran talent, and I'm sure that some of those players will have something to say about how that series goes. They'll have an impact on it as it goes along. Evie West, Winnipeg, the Avers, their team captain, ended up getting player of the game on the network on MFHL Playoff Game Day last night. Expect for her to continue to have a big impact for the Avers in that series. But as for this series, the players that have scored the goals here so far, it was Danielle Hepner who ended up getting the scoring started. Take a look at exactly when. It was 9:47 left in the period. And then shortly after that, it would be Veda Rigaud on the power play. 1-1 past number 33 and Claire Merckx, as the Eastman Selects defenseman who broke the all-time defenseman points record in a single season continues to be a big factor for this Eastman Selects team into the next round in these semifinals, as Eastman's coaches are on the bench now. Yellowhead's coaches are making their way back on the bench now, and Yellowhead makes their way onto the ice. First team to make it back on for this upcoming second period. And a game where I think for the Yellowhead Chiefs, try to get more going on the rush. The dump and chase game, if it works, and you want to pressure the Eastman Selects, you want to try to tire them out, but they just didn't really have much going for them with that game plan throughout that first period of play. We'll see what the story is here coming up, what type of adjustments that Derek Tibbetts makes, as well as this Yellowhead Chiefs team, as the Eastman Selects team makes their way back out onto the ice with the noisemaker going off. Gives me flashbacks to last year's playoffs when we were here. So the Selects made it to the semifinals, then back into the semifinals for a second straight year. Of course, their sights set on so much more this year as they bowed out in 4 games in the semifinals last season to the Westman Wildcats. This time around, they're up 2-0 in Game 1 as the top seed. They finished as the 3rd seed last year. Seen quite the improvement throughout their 2024-2025 season compared to 2023-2024. Can they continue this good play they've showcased so far through the first 20 minutes into these next 20 minutes, or will the Yellowhead Chiefs find some magic in their game to answer back and to punch back in this semifinals battle? This turned over, Kirby Gray, maybe just what Yellowhead needs to start off, but flash in the leather, number 34 for the Eastman Selects and Addison Tomes, as that warrants right away. Goaltenders coming onto the screen. One of our 2 second period sponsors. the goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to check them out at GordyTunnelsonGoalies.ca for more details on what they offer. Beefus stretches this up, just gets it to Delaney Rigaud as she just held the line as well, but Jace Oakden, they giving her no easy task to get that puck back as she took it away from number 18. Now back in the neutral zone. Kirby Gray trying to strip this away from Blake Hawes as Gray knocks Hawes down to the ice. No penalty called. She hit her from behind. Not like a body check, but a little two-hander. Got the refs let go. As a face-off draw won by this Eastman squad, but taken away again by this Yellowhead Chiefs team, who have had a good start to this period, some good jump in their game. As Eastman has it back in their own end to find a way to get through the structural attack from this Yellowhead team, and they do. Scott Cook off of her stick, but she gets it right back. Tries to get it through to the front of the net to Heidinger, as Heidinger whacks the back of the leg of Veach afterwards, as Veach was just pushing her out of there. With that, fresh legs out onto the ice for Derek Tibbetts and his group, as Knight ends up winning that draw over to number 15 in Miko, who played it up to Woloski. Tried to make a dangle past the Selects defense there, but couldn't. That stretch pass up to Heidinger. Tries to split through the D, instead draws a penalty. Sends Eastman back onto the girl advantage with 18:24 remaining in this period. By the way, it's Tara Knight, not Grace Knight, as I said earlier. Apologies to number 19 for the Chiefs as well as the Knight family. But it will be Eastman back onto the girl advantage. This one will be brought to you by Terraco, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. We'll see what Eastman will serve up on this power play this time around. Already 1 for 1 off of that Beta Rigaud goal in the opening frame. Besides that goal, Yellowhead, even though Eastman worked the puck well around on the outside, using the point while Yellowhead was getting good blocks in and had some good dump outs, but here may not be the same. Nice work in the neutral zone along the wall by Cochran to be able to cut that pass off. It's Abby Dixon, the captain, who carries it and trying to cut towards the net now. She does, loses a handle on it. Schroeder in tight, gets two-handed from behind afterwards by number Knight and Woloski. And hey, you're going to go to those dirty areas, you got to expect some retribution from the other team. The defensive zone, any team that, of course, has respect for each other, usually see, the strong response in terms of poking away at the goaltenders in front of the net like we saw there to just protect the goalie, right, like Yellowhead just did. Up to the right face-off circle as Beavis had that shot blocked, unable to quite hold it in as she attempted to, but puck rolled off her stick. It's onto Delaney Rigaud's stick now, down the right side with speed to the front of the net, trying to go backdoor to Callie Remillard. Couldn't feed that pass there. This time Hawes holds the line as Yellowhead can't get that clear out. Hawes with a bit of trouble with it at the point, but this worked now into the high slot for Hepner. Gets this down low off the boards to Callie Remillard. Loose puck to a Chiefs player all the way down. This goes with 26 seconds left on the Erica Miko penalty. And number 15 stretched up to Heidinger, the one who drawed, as Heidinger trying to build some speed up through the neutral zone, and she makes her move in. Delays at the hash marks at the right face-off circle. Continues to carry this puck as Heidinger, with 5 seconds left on this power play, feeds it to Vader. That nice stick save by Merckx. Is this the net off? Not sure why we got a whistle there. I believe it is just off for Claire Merckx. It's a key save for number 33 as it gets us back to even strength. Leave that shot from Vaderigo just taken as time was expiring on the Yellowhead penalty, as Yellowhead able to win the draw, trying to run this around, but Vaderigo, nice job to pinch up. It gets this loose to Sophia Heidinger. Down low again, Erica Miko, fresh out of the box, able to take this puck away, but unable to maneuver through the skates of Kennedy Carrier, who forced a turnover to Scott Cook. This went as Scott Cook went right into the red basket of number 33 in Merckx. As the Chiefs coaches have a conversation with each other about what they just saw, their team get set for another offensive zone face-off draw. Schroeder. A strong win there for number 3 to Isabella Carrier into the bread basket. That shot goes to number 33 in Claire Merckx. Another face-off coming up here. The exact same place. Draw won by Eastman. But to the wall first was Yellowhead, held in by Vaderigo as she made her way towards the net. Shot over top of the net after hitting the twig of a Chiefs player. Attack though, Schroeder takes a hit to make a play as she got rubbed out along the boards. Left it there for Dixon, but Dixon has that poked away. Number 4 still continues to battle down low though. She gets it back against Kirk, tries to go to the slot, ends up finding Rigo. Nice blocker save by Merckx to turn it aside. Vaderigo holds the line again. Turned aside on the shot by Merckx. As number 33 just settle things down. 17-6 the shots in favor of the Selects. They lead this one by a score of 2-0. Finally back down into the select zone, but Beavis will be the first one on it as Rodeba chipped it in. Veach able to hold the line as number 10 tries to get this puck back. Spins around to try to get possession of it, but fired it into the corner instead as Lexi Remillard putting on the moves down low now behind her goal line as she shovels this up the right side. Unable to get it out though as Yellowhead held the line, rimmed around. Deppner now tries to backhand this out, but intercepted by AP defenseman number 21 for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. As this off the boards all the way out, no icing called on the play. First one back on it will be that AP for this Yellowhead Chiefs team, sends it all the way around the boards as it gets onto the stick of number 9. Woloski backhands it on net, where tested is Tomes, but a routine save. Just cover things up. Let's listen to the skates of Scott Cook. Dangles past, but not going to make it to that puck as it's way out of her reach. Yellowhead sends this out now. Played back for Heidinger, or to Normando. Heidinger got it back. Normando back on it, tries to find a select at the blue line, but intercepted instead by Rose Cochran as Cochran shot blocked up on the way towards the net. As the Selects look to get in on the rush once again. Scott Cook shields this puck well along the close boards to us, but has it stripped away. One in number 15 and Erica Miko. This all the way to the Selects point. It'll be blocked up by Hodson. That pass towards the middle intercepted as Heidinger sends it right back in. First one on it Rose Cochran. As Cochran up to Hodson, gets this over to Gray, as Gray trying to dangle her way past number 10 and Chloe Carey, but unable to. Carey makes it to make a play, hits Isabella, dangles, turned aside by number 33 and Claire Merckx. A huge save for number 33 as Maxwell has that cut off. She tried to send a pass out right away, but good job by the Selects to get aggressive on her all the way down for an icing. This goes. Gray will plead her case to the referee, but doesn't matter. So we will be getting, I guess a face-off at center ice. With 12:49 remaining in this period, draw one by Yellowhead, taking a tumble, number 16, and Cochran gets right back up. The Selects get back into the Chiefs zone. Gray rims this around, hard to Maxwell, off of Maxwell's stick, held in at the point by Beavis for the Selects, sends this back down low to the lane Rigaud to Hepner. That shot through, rebound there, chipping away at it, number 5, and Callie Remillard. Once again, it's Merckx who makes a big-time save. Lawrence is bringing goaltenders back onto the screen. Whatever Merckx's goaltending coach is doing, or whatever Merckx is doing on her free time or practice to get better, translated in these games, obviously. She's been very strong in these playoffs for the most part so far, and continues to give her team a chance in this one. It's picked up now by, I believe, Haley Chapelski, as Chapelski's pass all the way down. Veach beating out the ice into it as Hawes muscles her out along the boards, rubs her out well. There's a few Chiefs down low trying to get this puck away, but unable to, as it's Scott Cook who comes away with it. Challenging Chopowski as, interference penalty, none coming there. Chopowski ended up being taken down hard at that blue line. Open up that lane for Scott Cook to make it towards the net. As Chopowski back on it. Was only a first-year Bantam player this year, led the MFHL U15 AAA Hockey League with 76 points this year in 28 games played. Scratch that, 77 points in 26 games played only for Chapelski. Most likely going to see her at the U18 AAA level next season, given how dominant she was at U15 already this year. She still remains out there, guarding that slot area. It's along the board. Scott Cook trying to get free. She ends up getting this puck. Ends up to the slot to Dixon, but that pass off Dixon's stick and onto Haley Chapelski's stick as Chapelski tries to make her way up the boards, but was cut off well by, I believe, Veda Rigaud, or maybe even Shane Scott Cook, one of the two. As Rigaud, that pass to Dixon behind her, went off of number 4's stick as she had one hand on it. Reverse now by the Selects as they look to start a breakout out of their own end, and they do into the neutral zone. Scott Cook able to gain the zone, but unable to hold it as delayed offside on the play. As the Selects just decide to go off for a change. Still a delayed offside. Ends up in the neutral zone, and all the refs end up calling a penalty on this Eastman team. Too many girls on the ice, aka too many men. A bench minor. Scott Cook will serve it for this Select squad, as it'll bring Terrico onto the screen, and the first power play of this game for this Yellowhead Chiefs squad. Haley Chapelski on this power play unit. Puck gets past her, but nice recovery by Chapelski just outside the blue line to get a stick on it again. Now Eastman comes in, shorthanded. Chapelski, nice defensive stick to defend against Hepner. Girl who opened the scoring in tonight's action. What's this? Into the neutral zone. Cross ice into the feet. The skates of Gray whacked all the way back down by this select squad. Merckx out of her zone net to play it is Delaney Rigaud, or Hepner. I believe that's Delaney Rigaud. Nice forecheck on this PK for the select squad. Loose puck now onto Chapelski's stick. Outletted to number 8 in Gray. As Gray makes her way in, but an offside called on the play. It's a bit too antsy was Wolofsky. With a minute 13 left on this Yellowhead power play, haven't gotten anything going really at all so far. They look to change that here. They get this down low off the backboards. Are covered by Normando. All the way down this goes as Merckx forced to come out of her own net to stop this. Leave the puck for her teammate in Miko. DDD pass to Cochran, now passed up to Veach, leading point getter for this Chiefs team in the playoffs so far. Veach to the net, dangling, but shut down by the Selects. Heidinger can't whack this out. Now it is sent out by, I believe, Normando. She goes off to the bench for a change. Heidinger also goes off for a change. Schroeder out there. Kennedy Carey as well as the forwards for the Selects. Nice job by Schroeder. A strong forecheck there from number 3. Lost her stick in the process, gets it back, and she's back to defend in the neutral zone. Gray tried to dangle past Normando, Rigaud at the blue line, unable to, as Veda, upon pickpocketing that, sent it all the way back down into the Yellowhead zone. Maybe one more chance here on the power play if they hurry, as Gray and dangles her way through, but shut down at that last moment by Veda Rigaud. Now on even strength for the Selects and stretched all the way to Dixon. No icing called on the play. Dixon with a bit of hesitation, not knowing what was up, sends it right back to Veda Rigaud. That whistled high of the net. Back down to Dixon now. Dixon, that pass off the marker. Fanned on, rather, by Isabel Carey, as it looked like it was in number 8's wheelhouse. All the way back down. 2-on-1 now developing. Maybe a 3-on-1 passed over. Dixon, that can't get over to her. As a nice defensive stick by Grace Kirk to get in the lane to eliminate that. Dixon whacks at it again, this time finding herself open in the slot. That shot contested all the way, though. Hit a stick on the way through towards its intended target, which would have been the net. Yellowhead gets off on a change again. Maybe Eastman can take advantage of it this time. No, Isabella Carey ends up redirecting that on net, where Merckx forced to make a save before going off for a change. With 6:38 remaining now in the second period of action. This pass gets past Chapelski onto the stick of Hepner, shielding this puck on the outside, tries to hand it off to Delaney Rigaud, but unsuccessful. Rigaud gets it back to the point now. Haas, that shot blocked on the way through. Rebound cleared away by Yellowhead, and maybe they had a break here, but no, the Select sticks just so strong on that blue line, really making it tough for Yellowhead to get anything going up ice as the Chiefs defend that chance well from Eastman this time. But back down low once again for the Selects. It's to Delaney Rigaud up to the point, trying to go to Veda, but Veda lost the battle there along the boards to Pollock as number 6 was able to whack it out. Eastman gets fresh legs on. 5:43 remaining in the second period of action. Up to Gray. She tries to dance through, tried to split the D, but instead gets shut down by number 16. And Sophia Heidinger. As this drop back, Scott Cook has that taken away. As Yellowhead able to get it out, but not much further than just outside the Select's blue line as the Select sent it right back down. Schroeder, unable to quite hold the line, sends it across to The defenseman and Chloe Carrier stopped up along the boards, just decides to send it in deep as this rimmed around. Maybe another too many girls penalty coming up, but this time Eastman survives that line change. So it'll be Beavis who looks to go for a skate from her own end here. As Beavis gets it to Heidinger. Heidinger towards the net, that off the post, hitting iron was number 16. So close to open up the scoreboard even more. Instead, we stay 2-0. Maxwell coming in hard on Lexi Remler, but Remler gets it up quick enough to Dixon, to the blue line to Carrier. Isabella Carrier surveys options, tries to find Schroeder, but pass intercepted. Now on the stick of Tara Knight, past the red line, sends this in deep. The backboard's picked up by Blake Hawes. Short little outlet pass to Vaderigo, I believe. Cross ice to Isabella Carrier, but offside was Dixon. With 4:08 remaining in the second period of action, 21-7 the shots in favor of the Eastman Selects. They battened down the hatches at both blue lines, it seems. It has been extremely tough for Yellowhead to get anything going against this Selects superb defensive play here in Game 1. Not missing a beat in the next round of the playoffs. Pressure, well, Eastman looks like they've thrived and handled it very well. Thrived through it, as I should say, and have handled it very well. As this puck able to get by, it's Delaney Rigaud. Has Hepner heading towards the net. That shot instead from Rigaud turned aside, or maybe off the side of the net that time against Merckx. As this draw back to Vader Rigaud down low to Hepner out in front, net off. So we got a whistle on the play. 3:21 remaining, but for the Selects, we've started to see them stretching the ice with more success throughout this period, attacking on the rush, and even at times catching Yellowhead on bad line changes, given the situation where Yellowhead's just going off for changes, getting fresh legs out as Miko makes her way towards the net, shut down. Great defense by number 10 in Chloe Carrier. Delaney Rigaud squeezes her way through the wall to the net, cut in. That shot turned aside by Merckx. 22nd of the night from the Select squad. But yeah, just what I was talking about right there. The Selects with a lot of success breaking in off the rush and, at points catching the Chiefs behind the play. Maybe the Chiefs can catch Eastman behind the play this time, unable to. Is this all the way down? No icing called on the play. Scott Cook physical play down low. Robin out a player along the boards to the slot for Heidinger. Shot unable to get through. That's Kennedy Carrier now. Carries this on the forehand outside that. Unable to get there into the slot on that intended pass to Scott Cook. It's picked up by Vaderigo now in the neutral zone. Sent all the way in. There's another too many girls penalty will be called here against the Eastman Selects. With 2:09 remaining in this period, it's going to be Isabella Carrier who goes into the box to serve this. The Chiefs' power play the first time around, well, let's just say one they'd like to forget. In this one, looking for more offensive zone time and more opportunities. They only got 7 shots in this hockey game so far, almost through 40 minutes. There's a quick one where Tomes has to be ready for. course, she was in the butterfly position, but on her toes in a sense on that one, alert for the chance. This is played up to Haley Chapelski. Chapelski, nice dangle at the blue line against Hepner. Gets this across D to Kirk. That shot through a screen, but gloved down by number 34 in Addison Tomes. To get a breather for her team. Be Jordan Veach to take the draw now for this Chiefs squad in the offensive zone on this power play, as they've made a change to their defense core as well on this power play. Over to Miko at the blue line, able to hold somehow. Thought she just carried that puck over offside for a split moment. The Selects able to get it back all the way down. This goes as Merck's out of her own net to stop this up. For number 10 in Jordan Veach. Veach has to be careful against Delaney Rigaud, though. Sorry, that's Rose Cochran as Rigaud picked number 18's pocket. Robbed her of the puck, got in the lane on that clear-out attempt. As Delaney Rigaud just contempt with eating that along the boards. Finally loose and played up now, up ice by this Chief squad. Miko loses it in her skates as she spins around now, tries to fire this down ice, but the Selects somehow able to stick on that to take that puck away and send it all the way back down into the Chiefs zone. That pass off the boards, out of the reach for the intended Chiefs target, as this all the way back down to the Yellowhead zone. Rose Cochran being challenged by Abby Dixon. Cochran got an outlet pass away. Gray explodes through her own end as Schroeder blew a tire. Oh, what a move from Gray, but Tomes with the robbery on what I would say maybe the best chance that the Chiefs have had outside of their first shot of this period, which was put on by Gray. But she's elusive. She can dance with that puck. We've seen her try to make her way through the Selects defense. The rush attack many times here tonight. Been shut down many times, but that time connects. And when dangles like that connect, it's always a thing of beauty to behold. But still, searching for their first goal is this Chiefs team with 18 seconds remaining in this period. 8 left on the power play. Is down low. Woloski shovels this with the backhand to Gray. Gray shielding this puck along the boards. We're back to even strength. Tomes taken out. And oh no, Yellowhead, are we going to see a penalty for them coming up? And I believe we will. Oh, that was very strange there. Our connection was dropping, but yeah, it's the Chiefs that are going to be on the penalty kill heading into the next period of action. So puts Eastman onto the power play. Up 2-0 still. A period where, well, I mean, aside from that power play that Yellowhead ends up having, where they ended up recording 3 shots, like, Eastman 5-on-5 wise has held this Yellowhead Chiefs team to under 10 shots in this game, 5-on-5 play. So it's just a credit to how strong this team has played defensively all night long. You've done it all season long, really, and it's continued deep into these playoffs so far, which their coaching staff has to be really happy with. We're going to leave you with some highlights here, and then we'll have full second period analysis during the second intermission before we get you set for period number 3 here in the semifinal series, the first game out of this best of 5 between the visitors, the Yellowhead Chiefs, down 2-0 to this Eastman Selects squad. We'll see if Eastman can start off a period with a power play goal to extend the lead, and how they end up finishing this one off in general, coming up on your home for MFHL hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. The second period, by the way, brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Check out their website at GordyTumelsonGoalies.ca for more details today on what they do, as well as Terraco, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. We'll be back soon, MFHL fans. Eastman looks to finish this one off here tonight. Yellowhead looks for some sort of positive to end off this game as they still trail with a goose egg on the scoreboard. The start of the playoffs here on your home for MFHL Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. Thanks for being here, folks. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. We are brought to you by Mick Fasteners and Tools, Terraco, Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Duran gloves this down. It'll be pickpocketed by Robbins. Gets it to the slot from Moisey. Pass to Chavlik. Oh, poke check. Clutch there from Rakowski as this game remains scoreless. Just a little halfway point over. Breaker shot on it. Rebound there for Anderson. Couldn't put it away. Cut off pass along the boards in the Ice's favor. Played up to Garbello now. She lets to gain a step and alone scores! Number 16 starts this one off right for the Winnipeg Ice. 1-0 for the defending champs with 7:13 left on the first period clock. She got a lot of ice time throughout that first period of action. Starting this period, Lazarenko, nice defensive stick to take away that cross-ice pass in her own end. Off the boards, down low, Clausen gets a stick on it. Keeps it down low by rimming this across. As Chloe Nicholas will be first one on. But Steves, what a play! Beside of the net into the slot. Anderson ends up being denied. The Hawks can't send this out now. The Ice start to get their cycle going. Chavlik to the slot! Oh, off the iron, the crossbar, and out of the zone. As the Ice able to send this out into the neutral zone to safety. Back on the brick stick, sends this in onto Duran's stick now. Down the right side, challenging, sends that to the front of the net. Couldn't finish my sentence. Then Anderson scores into the slot. Number 19 finds that loose puck and sends it into the back of the net as Pembina Valley ties this one up at one apiece. This time sent in deep by number 9 and Leah Clausen. Nice stick by Texier to whack that away from the Pembina Valley forechecking. This puck ends up down low again. Picked up by Perrin this time. Perrin trying to maneuver her way to the net, trying to draw a penalty but couldn't. As O'Brien now just misses on that low blocker side. Short side as they like to call it. Grunwald, another big save. Lazarenko's pass hit a stick and got into the Pembina Valley Hawks zone. Lazarenko gets us back to Cairns as Cairns denied on that left face-off circle. The Ice look to gain some offensive zone time here. Tip towards the net. Rakowski, pretty sure she just had to make a pad save there. Texier again through a screen. Might have been tipped, but Rakowski. The Ice have gotten a bit of a cycle game going here as this game has gone along and as this period has gone along as we've seen. But as Pembina Valley works it out, it's O'Brien. Her shot, glove down, rebound. Oh, nice save by Grunwald. Great concentration from number 1. As Brigg wins this, up to O'Brien, squeeze through, just wide of the net that goes. As the Ice send a pass out, but all the way down and into Pembina Valley's possession as Victor played it up. Duran now gets loose. As Brigg heading towards the net. Duran towards the net, scores! And who else but number 19, Jessica Anderson, to put it home for the Pembina Valley Hawks. Their leading goal scorer in the regular season. She has both of their goals tonight. That shot ricocheted off of a body in front, wide of the net. The Ice send this out. Here they go on the rush. Chavlik has a girl heading to the net, and Nicholas, she shoots wide of the net instead. Ends up to the point. That shot, Chavlik in front, gets a deflection on it. Back to the point. Another one. Rakowski this time with a save. It's on to Robbins' stick. Robbins up to the point. For out to her shot. Blocked up. Nice one by Steves there. It says Braun in the corner. He tries to get to this first. Robbins beats her to it. Robbins, her shot can't get through. To the point. Walker, her shot blocked. Again, another block by Steves. Here, another chance. Oh, what another block by Steves. Her third of this shift. Gets a huge applause from her bench. They've been the team that has given the Winnipeg Ice a lot of fits this season as the season series was tied at 2 apiece. Maybe some magic here from the ice, though. Man over to Lazarenko. Huge kick save by Rakowski. Time ticks off. Chadwick slow to get up along with the Hawk in the corner as they're both tied up with each other. As I believe Abigail Brigg is okay. And she gets up to celebrate with her team, who, congratulations, Pembina Valley, on going up 1-0 in this series.
Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon takes pride in selling the tools farmers and tradespeople rely on. Like our Winnipeg location, Brandon carries the same tools you know and love. From all the brands you can trust, all in one convenient place. And with unbeatable service, we'll make sure you get the right tools to get the job done. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon, proud to serve Brandon's industrial needs since 2018. Stop on by today at 358 Park Avenue East. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
And welcome back into Niverville, Manitoba for this Game 1 of this best-of-5 semifinals series in the MFHL between the top-seeded, the top dogs in the Eastman Selects taking on the 4th seed in the Yellowhead Chiefs. Just to give you an update on how we got to this point for these two teams to match up, Eastman swept their first round series, not even giving up a goal through those first 3 games that they played to move on to this round against Yellowhead. Well, Yellowhead, didn't lead their series once, but answered the bell every single time, winning games number 2, 4, and finally grabbing their first lead of the series when it mattered the most to win the series, taking it in 5 games over the Brandon Wheat Kings in Brandon's first season in MFHL play. And just want to give a shout out to Brandon. I mean, whatever fans or parents or no matter who, what their thoughts are on that team, I know that, that semifinal or that quarterfinal series between Yellowhead and Brandon, there was a game which had 22 penalty minutes, or 22 penalties combined between the both sides. But getting back to Brandon, I mean, I know that I'm not going to name names, but I heard some folks that didn't think that adding Brandon would make this league stronger in terms of they thought that the talent throughout it would end up dispersing just a bit throughout the league, which of course players went to different teams than they would have played for if Brandon weren't in this league. But yeah, I mean, all credit to Brandon this season. A team that was once in 9th place, finished in 5th place, one of the hottest teams down the line in the MFHL this year. And under Carissa Kirkup and a group that has had championship success at the U15 AAA level in the MFHL as a coaching staff. I think the sky's the limit coming up in year number 2 next year. But as for the Yellowhead Chiefs, they're into this round, of course, taking on the top dogs in the Eastman Selects. The Winnipeg Ice, by the way, that game that you saw, those highlights during this intermission, that's their only loss of the playoffs so far. Since that playoff loss, they've rattled off 4 straight. Their 4th straight victory coming last night against the Winnipeg Avros. In game 1 of the semifinals, as the Eastman Selects make their way back out onto the ice here, they'll start off with a power play coming up in period number 3, which will be brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools for this 3rd period of action. One-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in the province of Manitoba. And Yellowhead, well, they're going to need to find something special in their game to not only come back in this game 1, but throughout this whole series, their back's up against the wall against this Eastman Selects team who, I mean, we've talked about before, arguably the strongest forecheck in the league, I'd say so. That's come through in this game. The best defensive team in the league that only allowed 33 goals in 32 regular season games. It's been perfect in that regard so far in these playoffs, as they still have not allowed the goal. I hope that we don't put the announcer's curse in there and end up jinxing them, but it's Eastman who's on the power play. Brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools to start off this period of action. As losing her edge, hiding her down low, got it to Chloe Carrier. Now to Kennedy Carrier as that shot wired wide of the net. As Chloe sends it back down low to Heidinger, spins away from the check-in of, I believe, number 16 in Cochran. Back up to Chloe Carrier, ends up just getting that to the left face-off circle to Kennedy, where it's picked up by Shan Scott Cook. Scott Cook using the net as protection, shielding that puck. Vaderigo down low to Kennedy Carrier, tried to go cross crease to Scott Cook back door, but that not there. Over to Chloe Carrier now. That shot through, whacked away out in front by number 16, and Heidinger turned away down the other end of the ice by Yellowhead as off the boards. Pollock plays it to herself as Pollock looks to maintain possession down low, has that stripped away by Vaderigo. As Rigo leading this charge up ice, building speed through the neutral zone. Now takes it to the left. That high shot over the glove of Claire Merckx. Ends up all the way back in the neutral zone. Played back into the Eastman zone by Schroeder to Hawes. Hawes back to Schroeder. Schroeder makes her way in down the right side now. Delane stops up, feeds it to Hawes. That shot through, rebound there, but Merckx able to cover things up. With 13 seconds left on this Woloski penalty. This huge for Yellowhead if you're able to kill this off. And Claire Merckx being their best penalty killer right now, making key saves. And not really given any easy rebounds to start off this period. That pass through the slot, intercepted by Kirby Gray. That pass, just behind Hodson. As we go back to even strength, Yellowhead was looking to attack. Of course, shorthanded there, unable to. Now they're back to even strength. It's up, over to Gray, gains a step. Gray in the Lodo! That shot turned aside by Tomes, almost ends up going through her, but 34 onto her back to cover it up. It's been a duel between those two here all night long. Gray's had about 3 or 4 chances similar to that, but the electrifying number 8 in Kirby Gray just unable to quite find the back of the net here tonight. It's still a goose egg on the scoreboard for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Up to Cochran, played it down low to the net. Tomes covers it up, so the net comes off its bearings as well. 17:39 left on this third period clock. Offensive zone face-off draw for the Chiefs, who had a good start to their most recent two periods, the second and this one. Good penalty kill to start off. They had the pressure, a lot of it in Eastman's end to start off the second period of action, but it's about consistency for this Yellowhead team. How can you maintain your game? That type of pressure that could lead you to success as, this contest goes along. Really goes down for an icing. And it could be a moment like this where we start to see offensive zone time shift a bit for Eastman into their favor as they look to set up in the offensive zone by winning this draw coming up. Callie Remillard against Taryn Knight in the face-off, squaring off the two players. As it'll be Taryn Knight who gets the better of Callie Remillard, but a few selects in the area trying to get this puck back. Hepner almost does, but unable to get a handle on it. Chipped out by Yellowhead. Chloe Carey will be the first one on it for the Selects team. Takes it behind her net, now rims it around the boards to Delaney Rigaud. Hits Callie Remillard with that pass in the neutral zone. This will stay in for Delaney Rigaud. Rigaud into the corner. Ends up losing the puck, but it's on to Hepner's stick as Hepner now will spin away from the Yellowhead pressure. Now ridden out along the boards as Yellowhead a good job to stay with number 19. Hepner now gets this loose puck back through the scrum along the boards. Hepner spinning away again towards the boards, now cycles this down low to, I believe, number 18, and Delaney Rigaud strong on the puck. That shot hits the side of the net, off the backboards. Merck somehow makes that save, sticking out that glove to keep this still a 2-goal game only in favor of the Eastman Selects. Emma Pollock tried to dance her way past Hawes, but Hawes not looking for a dancing partner that time, shut her down. As Gray loses this puck, had it stripped away. Heidinger trying to pick the pocket of number 11, Hodson, in the neutral zone, but Hodson able to get it down successfully. Now attack side of the net! Holmes denies number 8 and Gray again. She couldn't elevate it that time for the assistant captain for this Yellowhead team. Now it's up to Sophia Heidinger. Has Kennedy Carey heading towards the net. Shot instead into the netting off of the blocker of Claire Merckx. 15:25 remains in this third period. 2-0 still the score in favor of the Selects. Trying to kick this free are the Eastman Selects. Rose Cochran in the corner making it difficult for them. Schroeder into the slot, killer! Scary! Just realized I mispronounced scores. Meant to say Carey, but she took that shot so quickly once she got it onto her stick. Extends this lead to 3-0 in favor of this Eastman Select squad. But it's that work, that hard work down below from one and Caitlin Schroeder, which pays off. Wins on the forecheck, makes a beautiful pass to Isabella in the slot. And Isabella Carey wires this one home. Claire Merckx. That goal brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools. As for the Eastman Selects, their first goal since period 1. As Abby Dixon, her shot gives Merckx a bit of trouble. Handcuffed her, rebound there. Turned aside by number 33. It's Abby Dixon in the area too. As this line all getting involved in the scoring. Dixon, Schroeder, along with Carey on that goal. Brought to you by MCF. 14:41 remains here. The third period of action. The mountain even steeper for this Yellowhead Chiefs team now in this game to be able to come back. It's the Selects try to work this up to the point, trying to gain possession. It's Delaney. We go to the net, deflected off of the stick of Hepner into the corner. It goes Hepner down low. Number 5 and Callie Remillard back to Hepner now as Hepner protecting along the outside to the net. Remillard catches this puck. Oh, backhands it just high over the shoulder of Merckx as this into the neutral zone for Cochran. Cochran, her shot, number 4 that is, has it blocked up and gets pushed into the goalie afterwards, and Tomes. It's that Courtney Cochran. Where's number 4? Quite a few Cochrans on this team. Of course, Brooklyn Cochran wears number 16, and Rose Cochran wears number 18. All 3 of them as well, finding enough defensemen. All 3 playing that position. I'm not sure if they're all related or not. I haven't done my homework on that. Been burned on that one once or twice before in the past, where players on the same team have a last name, but they're somehow not related. That came when I was covering CSSHL hockey for a former company I used to work with. And those were academy teams, so those players came from just about, well, from Manitoba, from other places around the world too. Chapelski, what a move. Haley Chapelski, that shot turned aside by that pad of Addison Tomes. Rosdeva now, that shot deflected on net. Another chance for Rosdeva, scores! Could it be new life on the scoreboard for Yellowhead? Well, it's life at the very least as they finally break that goose egg. It only took 13:30 remaining in this third period for it to happen. It's the first goal that the Eastman Selects allow all playoffs long. And now, this could get interesting here. So we'll see how Eastman responds to giving up their first goal of the game, up by 3-1, once up by 3-0, but it's the Yellowhead Chiefs who are able to work this puck towards the net. Eastman's so good at boxing out usually, not that time as they're overloaded. And Tomes made 1 save, 2 stops, but unable to make the third as Gray over to Kirk. That shot turned aside. Tomes taking exception to the whack afterwards by Hodgson. Her team into defender afterwards. Chappelle Roan blares over the sound system here at the Neverville Rec Center. This Chiefs team looks to continue to cut into this lead. Heidinger has other options, though. To Kennedy, scores! It's Eastman back on top by 3. Didn't take long at all. Sophia Heidinger to Kennedy Carrier. 4-1 Eastman. 13:03 remaining. That goal brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools as well. It's simple plays, right? And Eastman banks on that. Chipping it off the boards to herself. It's Heidinger in the neutral zone. Gets past the Yellowhead defense. And right there, Yellowhead on their heels trying to defend on the 2-on-1. Defensemen tried their best to defend that pass going to Kennedy Carrier, but it gets over to Carrier. And a nice touch to the back of the net from number 13. As Heidinger still out there along with Scott Cook, who lost the puck down low. Well, we got our answer of how Eastman would respond in high-powered fashion. Their 4th goal of this game is from the point. That's sent in deep by Yellowhead. Trying to stretch this up. Lexi Remillard hit a skate instead. Shan Scott Cook over to Carrier. Tries going to Heidinger in that low slot, but that unable to connect with number 16. Whips it right back in No offside called on the play. Eastman retrieves back in their own end now. Chloe Carrier, that up the boards. Now off a skate and onto the stick of the captain and Abby Dixon. She looks to go one-on-one against number 21 and Chapelski. Nice job by the 13-year-old to shut down number 4 there. Chapelski still in the lane trying to block that up as this ends up into the corner. Being stood up there. It's number 4 and Dixon. Now rimmed around all the way to Courtney Cochran. Cochran now sends this into the neutral zone. Pass intercepted by Dixon as number 4 sends it in. Captain goes off for a change. So the Selects get it right back into the Yellowhead zone. Chapelski, her pass off the mark this time for number 6 and Emma Pollack. Not able to get a nice in though on the play where the Selects is Normando too quick to get to that puck first. As Normando being hounded in the corner by number 8 in gray. Forced them to turn over on the forecheck. Hodgson taken out now. No penalty called on the play from the point. That shot from Kirk. Denied by Tomes. It's another face-off. Oh, wait, it's over to Blake Hawes. As Hawes, stretch pass into the skate of Hepner, who got the scoring started in tonight's action, passed off the stick of Callie Remillard. That's Remillard down low. Out in front, that denied. Good defense by Yellowhead in tight of their own crease. Ends up in neutral zone. Beavis just steps up to make that pass, but Scott Cook has that stripped away. Grace Kirk now stepping up in the play. Gets bodied down. No call on the play. The ref's letting them play. Kirby Gray ends up not being able to get that down low. Now it's Woloski who gets the puck back on her stick. That quick shot wide of the net. So it ends up the stick of Heidinger in the Eastman zone. Heidinger has that stripped away. As it's now passed up off of the stick of Scott Cook in the neutral zone. Scott Cook, nice job to stay with it on the forecheck, though. Looks like she'll get possession of this puck. She does just that, heading towards the front of the net now. That intended for 2 in tight was 15. Heidinger couldn't cradle that pass. That ended up getting to her as well. As Yellowhead sends this down on Tomes. Turned aside by number 34. Oh, we got there's a lot of events going on here tonight at the Niverville Rec Complex. A volleyball tournament going on in the gym that they have here. And I just looked over to my left. We got some security taken in this game, so kind of caught me off guard, to be honest with you. It's great for those two gentlemen beside me to take in some high-level female hockey here as we're into the final half of this final period of regulation. Yellowhead finally got onto the board here tonight. First team to score on Eastman in these playoffs, but Eastman would answer right back as that tip towards the net. Claire Merckx unchallenged there as Yellowhead didn't even let it get to the goaltender's crease this time. This time she's out of her own crease to stop that up. This rimmed all the way around, stretched up to Gray. Gray tried to dangle her way past Hawes, but Hawes able to shut her down. Now Delaney Rigaud, a quick little move to the inside to get free. Now into the Chief zone. That shot turned aside by Merckx. So the net goes off its bearings. Rigaud got bodied down on her way towards falling up on that rebound. Number 8 back up. With 8:16 remaining, draw just one. Well, it looked like by the Selects at first. In fact, it's the Chiefs who end up winning it, possessing this into the select zone, but taken away right away. Now along the boards, Chapelski looked really good out here tonight. That is her. I'm pretty sure that's her. Yeah, I mean, this is a first-year Bantam player, like mentioned already, going up against U18 AAA players. Has not looked out of place here tonight. Has gotten more ice time throughout this game. Tibbetts given more trust in her. She has it back on her stick. DDD this goes to Courtney Cochran. Cochran, her pass through. Great stick all the way down for an icing. .7:31 remaining. Draw will be back inside the Chief zone. This period brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools. There's a bit of confusion from the Yellowhead bench on if they can change their players or not. Chapelski stays out. Draw won by the Selects. Puck in the air for a few seconds before coming back down. Beavis ends up losing her balance. Yellowhead advantage for them as they break this out, but strong back pressure from Eastman, able to take that puck back right away, sending it right back down to the Chiefs zone. The Chiefs send this all the way out. It'll be Beavis who cuts it off in the neutral zone. Banked off the boards again. Now this gets all the way into the Selects end. Woloski cuts it off along the boards in the Selects end. Sends this down low, but Beavis, first one on it. Beat out George to the puck. Now Woloski almost gets this into her skates, but not quite able to play it up all the way to Heidinger now down into the Yellowhead zone. Beats out the ice and into the low slot. Oh, Scott Cook denied on that chance. What a feed from number 16. She has a chance to do it again to the net. That this time denied by Merckx. But Heidinger gets it up to the point. Rigaud, her shot. It's up whistling wide of the net. Went off of a stick. Finally does get out of the Chiefs zone. It will survive that pressure from another strong Chiefs attack towards their net. Another strong Selects attack towards the Chiefs net, as I should say. As that stretched up, Isabella Carey had her stick lifted there, I think, by Brooklyn Cochran, but remain playing 5-on-5 with 5:56 remaining now. Just under 6 minutes left to go in regulation. Yellowhead will be looking to push now, I'm sure. But will Eastman allow them to? Strong defensively for pretty much the majority of this hockey game. Been not many instances where this team has faltered defensively. But when they have, one of the times ended up into a Chiefs goal. As this off the stick of Danielle Hepner now. All the way back down to the Eastman zone. This off the stick of Remillard. No offside on the play as Yellowhead cleared beforehand. Pollock's shot turned aside. Number 34 in Tomes. Cross ice feed in the neutral zone. Off the stick of Hepner. Taken away right away by Yellowhead. Now they look to gain some speed, some space to the neutral zone. It's to Gray looking to drive the net off the side of it. That shot goes. That was Gray behind the back pass attempt. Ends up being turned aside. Unable to get through the skate of an Eastman Selects player. Now Gray in the low slot again. That shot wide of the net this time. As Beavis skates this in, or no, rather dumps this in just before the blue line. Beavis remain out there, goes towards the bench for a change now. As this snapped onto the stick of Kennedy Carey, a most recent goal scorer in this game. He used Oakden as a screen, but Merckx able to still track that all the way. With 4:18 remaining in this hockey game, we won't be back to streaming MFHL Playoff Game Day action until Saturday night here in Niverville, Manitoba for Game 3 of this series, as Game 2 goes on Friday night in Shoal Lake. We'll also be back for Game 3 in Winnipeg in the Ice Avros series at Seven Oaks Arena on early Sunday evening. As Game 2 of that series goes Friday night as well, as that shot turned aside by Merckx. For number 33 here tonight, I feel like she's played pretty solid. Has made a lot of big saves. Just needs a bit more help out in front from her team. Maybe more than a bit. So this series very well going to be going back to Shoal Lake on Friday night with Eastman up 1-0, barring something unexpected and drastic here to happen against Eastman for them to blow this lead. We'll see how they finish it off. Tydinger in the slot ends up having that sticked away by Brooklyn Cochran. Penalty coming up here behind the play. 2 minutes for body contact. With 3:21 remaining, it's Shan Scott Cook. Been a familiar penalty for her. She takes one here. 3:21 remaining in this period of action. We'll make sure to put Yellowhead's power play graphic on the screen as well here. Face-off draw, tie-up. Emma Pollock gets the loose puck. Pollock, the OT winner, of course, in Game 5. The OT hero in Game 5, scoring the OT winner to send Yellowhead through to this round. As this puck ends up out of the zone, Erica Miko will be first one on it. Looking to gain some speed through her own end, but all the way hounding her was number 4 in Dixon. Nice job by Schroeder in that space to be able to force that puck out of her own end. In the early stages of this penalty kill, over Erica Miko, back across. Number 18 in Courtney Cochran, or Rose Cochran, sorry, who her pass ended up being intercepted, sent all the way back down by this Eastman Selects squad. Up to Woloski now. Woloski settles us down the neutral zone, taken down here. A 5-on-3 penalty, or power play coming up. It's another body contact penalty taken, this time by Isabelle Carrier. So for almost the remainder of regulation, unless Eastman's able to score some quick goals, it'll probably be special teams play from here on out for all but 20 seconds. Or no, sorry. Yes, that is correct. 20 seconds would only remain even strength if Eastman's able to hold Yellowhead off the scoreboard here. Let's see what Yellowhead has in store. It's played up with the point now across to Gray, but bad out of her reach at that left face-off circle. But it's down low, controlled by Rose Deba to Gray as she spins around. Places up to the point. That shot Kirk through, but turned aside by Tomes. At what point do we see Tibbetts pull the goalie, which would be a 6-on-3 advantage through a screen? Kirk shot rising high of the net, that went off target for Yellowhead. Across to Chapelski, tries to feed it through to Kirk. Unable to get it there. Gray now at the point. Sends this right back to Chapelski, back to Gray. Nice dangle, steps up, Gray, turned aside by Tomes, unable to unload on that rebound. It's Tomes spins around in that crease and gets back up, as we're on to a 5-on-4 now, with 57 seconds of power play time remaining for Yellowhead. Grace Kirk has that taken away. Nice back pressure by Hepner on the back check all the way down as we approach the final minute of regulation. Off the skate of Gray that goes, but with success, it redirected to Emma Pollock. Pollock ran into a linesman, though, had it taken away, and it's sent all the way down by this Eastman squad. 47 seconds left now on the clock. A little shimmy shake behind the net before going up to Jordan Veach, the leading point getter for Yellowhead through the first round. Veach takes it down wide, but can't get past that good stick of Blake Hawes. Defend her well. 13 seconds of power play time left as Veach gets it back. Hawes tried to flip it out, unable to. This ends up back in the corner. we are officially back to even strength as well between the two sides, as this puck looks like it just may stay in the corner with 14 seconds remaining. The Eastman Selects keep this train rolling of consecutive playoff victories. They swept their way through the first round into the semifinal series, and even though they allowed their first goal only of the playoffs tonight, they responded with a quick goal to go back up by 3 to win their 4th straight of these playoffs, to start off another series up 1-0 with, well, through the first 40 minutes for a team that prides themselves on their defense and is the best defensive team in this league by the statistics, was a dream start for them. This third period, Yellowhead plays their best period of the hockey game, got the most pressure all game long that they had in the Eastman zone, and Eastman, for the most part, able to survive it, come out pretty well unscathed. The offense coming through big time tonight, depth on display, as we saw 4 different goal scorers. Kennedy Carrier scoring the final goal of the game for the Eastman Selects. It's Vaderigo who ends up having the game winner tonight, as she scored the second goal of the game to make it 2-0 at the time for Eastman. Shots 38-20 in favor of the Selects. It's 4-1 is the final, of course. Addison Tomes with her second start of the playoffs, as Maya Grenier injured and out of this contest. You couldn't see it, but giving her team full support, pats on the backs. But yeah, the depth on display here tonight from Eastman, just kept skating hard and were relentless for most of this game. And yeah, Addison Tomes, I thought, looked very good. I thought that Claire Merckx had a really strong game for the Yellowhead Chiefs too, but look, Yellowhead, you need to try to replicate or model that sort of effort, those types of results from that third period moving forward in the series, or quite frankly, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance here against a team that's so good as Eastman is defensively. You need to find ways to break through and into their end and sustain some sort of offensive zone time. As good as Claire Merckx is, and as good as this defense in front of her played at times tonight, the Selects just overpowered them as that first period went along, added on 2 more in this third period of action. And yeah, Eastman, of course, looking to take a 2-0 series lead coming up in game number 2 on Friday night here in the league. But we'll go into the players of the game now for the losing side for the Yellowhead Chiefs, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. So we take a look, just want to take a look back at the points in this game. So there was only 3 players who could have gotten points for Yellowhead. That was Rose Deba, as well as Emma Pollock, who ended up scoring. Yeah, I mean, Merckx, of course, stood out in this game. As we try to take a look here, trying to find it. Yeah, trying to just take a look at their lineups right now, but you know what? In my opinion, I think Kirby Gray gets player of the game here tonight for the Yellowhead Chiefs. She was buzzing all game long. She had about 4 or 5 shots, and most of them coming off of breakaways or her burning pass with speed. The only player who was doing that consistently tonight for this Yellowhead Chiefs team, we saw her dangle a few times, dazzling and putting on a show here tonight. Just all Swedish, no finish, unfortunately, for number 8. And look, as big as Cochran, or as big as, you know, players on this team like Merckx are, and, you know, the veterans on this Yellowhead Chiefs team to their success in this series, I think that Gray is going to be a real driving force if they are going to have success up front, and showcased her skills here tonight. And yeah, stood out the most to me. Aside from a few players that we could have mentioned for the Yellowhead Chiefs, but Gray gets player of the game here tonight, brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for Yellowhead. As for the Eastman Selects, their player of the game, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. As once again, I want to take a look at the statistics, as there were many different players who scored in tonight's action for this Eastman Select squad, but one player that I thought was working hard all night long, and you need these types of efforts in the playoffs if you want to go far. You need players chipping in like this, hard on the forecheck, making great passes, and just making great plays once you win the puck battles. That was Caitlin Schroeder. Unbelievable assist from her on that third goal of the game, scored by Sophia Heidinger, to not only win that battle on the forecheck, strip that Yellowhead Chief defenseman away from the puck, and then thread a pass through into the slot. It was fantastic to see, and I thought that Schroeder was working hard all night long on the forecheck, winning a lot of the puck battles that she was in, drew some penalties for her squad, and yeah, Caitlin Schroeder, to me, gets player of the game tonight for this Eastman Select squad, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs, with store locations in Winnipeg and Brandon, as well as McCannFasteners.shop being their website. But as for their store locations, be sure to check them out today in Brandon and Winnipeg, as of course they got everything you need if you are looking to upgrade your tools or your game in the industrial industry. As it's Caitlin Schroeder with player of the game for Eastman, and Kirby Gray with player of the game in the losing cause for the Yellowhead Chiefs here tonight. We take a look at the updated bracket. Well, not updated right now. It's going to be the Selects who go up 1-0. Both of these series will be in action on Friday night. Of course, no days off for the Chiefs and Selects from Friday to Saturday. As for the Avros and Ice, they'll get a break after that Friday into Sunday, a day off. But yeah, I guess to quote the great, to cage the elephant, or just making sure we're still live here in our post game. But yes, to quote, like I was trying to say, cage the elephant. Ain't no rest for the wicked, and it's been a wicked display of hockey so far in these playoffs. It's been tons of fun. Both of these teams back in action. Shoal Lake on Friday night. It's a must-win, I'd say, for Yellowhead, as if you get down 2-0 in this series against Eastman with the way they've been playing, you know, never say never, because Yellowhead's come back before, like last year, down 2-0 to the Avros in the quarterfinals, but this Eastman team, a different beast, and they continue to prove that here tonight. The 4-1 win to open up their semifinals with a bang. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors in Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and Goaltenders for sponsoring another edition of MFHL Playoff Game Day. I've been your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth, and from all of us here at G-Show Productions, we thank you for tuning in. 4-1, Eastman wins, still undefeated in these playoffs. First goal given up of the postseason, yes, but still very, very sound defensively. Good night, everybody. Take care. Thanks for watching.